Buenos Dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Here goes another one. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We all like the song. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like some motherfucking smack addicts. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Hey, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, in a menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight into it, right? I'm going to tell you guys a little story. An old school throwback story, man. Something that really happened. Actual and factual, indeedy, yes, indeedy. Now trip out. You know, we all have complex families. We all have, you know, if you grew up like I grew up in the hood, in the barrio, then you have a lot of different associations, right? When it comes to family, you know, you can't dictate the program of your primos or your primos homeboys, your homeboys primos. It just ain't gonna happen like that. Guard! Did it work like that in your familia? It just definitely didn't work like that in mine. I have primos that were Southsiders, primos that were actually from the Sul area, ain't nothing scarier, right? Vatos that were actually from down south that are familia members. On the other side of the family, I had a primo that was a bulldog. I had a tío that was a bulldog, right? Crips and Bloods and Norte thugs, right? But the majority of my family was Nortenos. That's a fact, right? Growing up on both sides, the majority of them were representing the northern cause, but at the same time, there was a little bit of a lot of bit when it came to my familia. And that was just that. Blood was always thicker than water. When we were under the comforts or in the confines of a familia home, all bets were off. So we left our gang at the door and we represented the familia. But it's not like that all the time. And sometimes it can get a little greasy. You know, I had, with some of my primos that were Southsiders, there was an awareness there. There was an understanding between us without having to be spoken that when we were there, it was all good in the hood. And I mean, my primo would bring some of his homeboys over, vatos that would shoot up. The dog is belly up, right? We would trip out on each other, but we knew right there within them quarters of that household, it was all good in the hood. If he grabbed a tamal, I grabbed a tamal. If his hand grazed mine, there might be problems. But at the same time, when we hit them calles, it was a whole different story. Now we're tripping. Now we're taking it to a gang element. Now we're doing what we does, cuz, right? So I remember one day, I'm chilling at my grandma's house with some of my primos. They're Southsiders, right? They're representing definitely, this was prior to the upstate label. So they were just claiming Sul. They weren't saying hollering upstate, but they were from up north, Northern California. So we're all kicking back and I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping. These are vatos that would come over all the time with my primos, kick back, eat. It's whatever. We started to develop relationships. I wouldn't say friendships, but at the same time, we knew each other. And if I seen them in a dark alley, I wasn't going to bust one on them, right? And they probably wouldn't have did the same thing on me, I hope, right? But one never knows, does one? One thing I know for sure is we were all good that day, and I remember it was a Saturday. I particularly remember it was a Saturday, right? And everybody was kicking it, and I didn't have shit to do. My Palm Pilot was empty. I was just going to watch the Grinch like Money Mike, right? So I had really nothing to do, and I'm kicking back, and my primo's homeboy said, hey, what you got cracking tonight? I said, nah, a whole lot of nothing, you know. I'm just kicking back, posted up. Probably going to kick back right here and just chill. Watch the Grinch. He said, hey, trip out. Come with us. We're going to go to LB to a party. Los Baños, right? And I said, hey, bro, I ain't really trying to get caught up in what you guys got going on because you can't maintain your homeboys. What if your homeboys start tripping off me? I mean, I'm going to go flamed up. I go flamed up everywhere I go, right? And it's not because I'm trying to gangbang or trying to show someone up or disrespect people. That's just the color in my fucking closet. That's the majority, right? It's always been like that. Always will be like that. All red, everything usually, right? Or black. One never knows that's one. But I definitely had my attire on and I wasn't going to switch up and go undercover for anyone. I wasn't going to throw a LA Dodger fucking sweater on just to go kick it with these vatos that were Southsiders. You know, and I was like wondering, should I go? This might be a setup. You know, but then again, my primos were going, so I wasn't really tripping. And Vato was like, hey, there's going to be a gang of chicks. We're just going to go kick it with these chicks. It's all good. Ain't no one tripping off that shit, Holmes. You're good with us. If there's any pleito, north or south, you already know we're going to rock. And I said, well, to what degree of rocking against Nortenos? I can't do that, right? That's not what I can do. But at the same time, you know, hopefully we don't get into that. And he was like, nah, we're not even on the gangbanging shit tonight, bro. We're just going over there to chill with some beezies. You know, one time for their mind. We're trying to flatten us a torta. We're trying to make a torta flauta. I said, well, let's get it, right? So I actually went out there to LB with them. Facts, truth, right? I know a lot of people are like, damn, Gun, you sure got a lot of stories with Southsiders. You sure were mixing and mingling with them. Now, I had a lot of respect for people. You know, when you're living that gang life, man, you could be a true believer and a firm believer in your cause without having to do all the extracurricular activities, man. When it's time to handle business, you handle business. When it's not, it's not. You know, if you have familia that are from different realms and different regions and different areas, then you understand this. If you don't and you're just a super bad motherfucker with the cake flowing in the wind, well, that's your story and I'll let you tell it. But these are truths, right? So we actually go. We're in that Cuddy Supreme on triple gold ones. I'm looking around, I'll see nothing but blue paños and X3s, right? But at the same time, I'm not tripping because, like I said, it's my primos and a couple of the homeboys that I developed relationships with. They were cool and I was cool. So the vato keeps looking back. He's like, don't trip, homie. It's good. I said, I ain't tripping. I'm just saying at the same time, I feel violated. He said, it's cool. We're all good, bro. He's like, hey, there's some bad tortas over here. Sure enough, there sure enough was. Oh, there sure enough was, right? So we get to the spot. There's about six chicks and there's 4 of us. So it's all good in the hood, right? Now, all of a sudden, a couple more Southsiders pop up and a couple from LB pop up. Yes, Los Baños, there are some Southsiders out there. I'm just here to tell you, right? Fans on La Tira. Merced County, it's just what it was, right? So a few vatos pop up. They're not even tripping on me because I'm with their gente. So automatically they assume, and that's what they do, making asses out of themselves, right? They assume that I'm with their programa. And at the same time, I'm looking at my primo like, bitch, you better die for me, right? He's like, don't trip. I got you. So we're kicking back with these chicks. And this chick's like, hey, is it cool if I call my primos over? So the Southsiders immediately are like, hey, where are your primos from? She was like, they're bikers. I don't know, they're like bikers and shit, but they're cool. It's no big deal, right? So everything's good in the hood. They're like, yeah, it's all good. We're thinking it's like a little local biker gang. No big deal, right? She was like, it's only a couple of my cousins and a few of their homeboys. It's going to be good. So now the party's cracking. More chicks that came. It's starting to get bigger and bigger, much bigger than we expected or I expected, right? And hey, I'm the dick in the middle, balls, right? So I'm sorry, I'm the only northerner there, right? Looking around like, oh, hell no, right? It's filled with my enemy guys, right? And of course, there's these chicks and they're over there trying to get my moms and they're table dancing. It's just going down, right? It's the type of party you want to be at, but the type of atmosphere, if you're in my position, that you got to really, really be on your toes. So I'm looking at my primo's looking at me, right? When these vatos walk in. And these vatos walk in with that patch, chums. And if you guys know what patch I'm talking about, look at the thumbnail, right? Some Mongols walk in. Now, I've always had a lot of respect for the Mongol Nation. I've always had a lot of respect for what they've had going on. You know, one of the premier Chicano motorcycle clubs, you know, down from LA. I've just had love and respect for them. I've admired what they had going on. You know, I understand they get a bad stigma and a lot of people trip off them and a lot of people assume that they're just outlaw bikers tearing shit up and doing this and doing that. But every vato that I've ever ran into was good gente, you know. Good vato, a family man, you know, he had that rough, tough look, but at the same time, they were just doing their thing. A lot of them had high-vis work, and they were just doing their motorcycle thing on the cuts. Now, I've never been a biker. I've never been in that lifestyle, but I do have family members that have lived that lifestyle. I have a tío that was one of the founding members and original members, you know what I mean, of the Hells Angels back in the days. So I know all about the biker thing, but not too much, but I know all about it. But you know what I mean, you feel the twist, right? I know a little bit about a lot of it, but I'm not going to voice my opinion because it's none of my business. So anyways, these vatos walk in, right? And a couple of them are cool, right? Hey, they walk in with Pisto. They got a couple, I ain't gonna lie, it was Bud Light, that's it. It was Bud Light back then, right? They walk in with a couple cases of Bud Light. It's all good. Everybody's chilling. Everyone's having a good time. But the south side of the main one, who's my primo's big homeboy, comes and gets at me. He's like, hey, it might go down. Ponte trucha on these fools, right? He automatically, you know, I'm automatically with them. Sorry to say, it's what it was, Mongol Nation. I had to rock with the Southsiders in this predicament because that's who I came with. You know, and it was like a family members. And then, of course, these vatos, we're all together. This is my ride, that's it. Unless you're going to put me on the back of the motorcycle, let's get it. Creeping down the runway, right? If we're going to do it like that, vámonos, let's go. I even go on the handlebar like that. Rock it, let's go, eh? Right? So I'm right there posted up. Again, I'm not really tripping. I'm not really seeing or feeling the tension like this vato told me. But of course, coming from YA, being in prison, I understand that everyone's always aware. You know, even when there's nothing going on, there's always something going on. Now, if you catch my feeling and you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That's it, right? So everybody's looking. You know, everybody's looking, but it's like the standoff at the OK Corral, okay? Right? Okay. Vatos are just doing their own thing. Ain't no problems. Well, I guess one of the chicks there, she used to be with one of the Mongol dudes, right? So he's feeling some type of way. But he ain't tripping. He's playing the role like, hey, man, fuck this bitch, right? She's over there kissing up on a Southsider from LB. I guess that's her new old man. I don't know the particulars. Like I said, I don't know what the color her calzones were. Says kid, but I wouldn't mind. She was that bad. I wouldn't mind. Just to let you know, girl, if you ever see this, I was looking, but I was thinking. I just wasn't touching, right? So anyways, we're all kicking back. What happens is, I guess this Vato from Los Baños finds out through his chick that this is one of her exes. So he starts checking her like, hey, why would you bring these Vatos over here? She's like, they're my cousin's homeboys. It's good. They don't trip like that. Well, they start tripping like that. We start having a conversation. We're all kicking in the kitchen. Vatos are playing dominoes and dice and things of that nature. Yes, Mexicanos do play dice, right? Vatos are getting their conquian on, all kinds of stuff. And one of the Vatos from the Mongols is like, hey, where are you from? He tells my homeboy Loco. Now, Loco's from Atwater, right? But Loco at the same time is originally from the Los area, right? I don't know if you know him, but if you know him, now you know, right? So he tells Loco, who's a kind of an older Vato, who's real good friends of my family. Very, very, very good friends of my family, right? He tells him, hey, and this is the Vato that I went over there with, right? He tells him, hey, where you from, Humps? He says, I'm from LA, but I'm out of Atwater. You know what I mean? We're from A-Town, this and that, whatever, right? And so the Vato tells me like this, palabra, right? He's like, where you from, eh? I said, I'm from Merced. He said, are you from LA too? I said, no, I'm from Merced, right? That's right, right? You know, I'm looking around like, oh, hell no, right? It's about to go down. They just bypassed me, not even really tripping, because I guess I don't pose a potential threat. I'm skinny, sucked up with a little bit of a Mongolian. I ain't gonna lie, right? How they missed that, one never knows, does one, right? But anyways, I'm kicking back. They probably liked it because they're the Mongols. Anyways, I'm just posted up, and they start to like ask about family members, ask about areas. Hey, you know the homeboy from Role, you know the homeboy from this area, you know the homeboy from that area, you know the homeboy from Bowling Park, the homeboy from Echo. They start to mention it. And then one of the Southsiders says, hey, why you Vatos asking about us? Let's say, why you Vatos asking about us? Aren't you Vatos dropouts? You hear that? Yeah, hold. That's what I heard. Silence. Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy Cricket was getting his violin on, right? I was like, oh, fuck. These Mongols ain't no suckers, bro. You done violated everything, right? But at the same time, I'm with you. I don't even want to fight, right? Fuck that. At this point, you did it, right? I just want to kick back. And the Vato's like, nah, you got us mixed up. And he said, well, down south, Holmes, from what I heard, and they start to do the he said, she said. From what I heard is you Vatos are non-active gang members, and you guys joined up a biker club. And for these Vatos are like, nah, it ain't nothing like that. I ain't never been no part of nothing. And it starts to go back and forth, and I feel the tension start to rise. And one of the tortas, she's like, hey, you guys are on my pad. Don't trip. You know, hey, right here, it's all good. We're all going to get along, or all you motherfuckers could get out, right? I'm like, hey, I'll go first. I'll get out first. That's good because I see it coming. I see the record coming. It was coming around the bend, definitely on some Johnny Cash shit. It was definitely coming, right? So again, they're arguing back and forth. They're acting like, bitch, get out my way. Damn, you got to. But that's it. Get out the way. And they keep continuing. And all these details start coming up about how the Mongol Nation was formed and how the Southsiders were formed and all this. And me being the fucking vato that I am and having a little bit of knowledge that you can't get in college, I interject my dumb ass into the conversation. I'm like, no, hold up. So it was actually this date that this was created and this was founded. And I start to, act like I know something I should have just stood my ass up out of, right? But of course, I'm going to be involved anyways, so I might as well get my 2 cents in. Fuck it. Let's get it. Guard! You feel me? Right? So I'm just like, whatever. Well, the Vato's like, it gets to the point where they're standing up and there's tension, right? I'm like, damn, this is about to be the soul burst of Mongols, right? This is going to be a good one, right? Here I am thinking, I'm just going to watch with popcorn. I said, but my name ain't Orville nor Redenbacher. My name, it's red, all right? Because I got the red on, right? But I'm about to get mine's on too. And the Vato was like, well, hey, this Mongol Nation over everything, right? Again, you hear that? Exactly what I heard. I heard, Vato goes, this soul, right? I said, hell no, that's all I needed, right? Here we go. Here I am, the one Norteno in all of Merced County, caught in between the Mongols and the Sioux. None of them like me, right? But I'm just right here like, what am I doing? I'm looking at my primo. He's like, I can't do nothing for you, man. I'm like, hell no, right? So I'm chilling. And the Mongols are like, look, we're not here to disrespect anyone, but we're going to let you guys know right here, this is our area. Now, prior to that, I wasn't aware that I guess they had established some type of clubhouse or they had something going on that gente in that area. I wasn't up to par. I didn't know. Shit, it wasn't, I wasn't like I was over there fucking riding a three-wheeler. I didn't really know what it was. The closest I ever got to a motorcycle was a beach cruiser, I said, and I was getting my bumpity bump on. I didn't know nothing about what they had going on or where they were established, but obviously they were from that area since they were there. And so that was the real Mongol patches. That was the first time I actually, in real life, actually was in the presence or the area of real Mongols, right? You want to look like straight gangsters right there, big old wits. You know what I mean? They look like they just stepped out of Folsom, threw a patch on, and grew their hair out and got to pushing. Now, the Southsiders weren't no suckers, man, whatsoever. And if you know about A-Town, if you know about that area, you know traditionally, man, these Vatos are down to wiggle. Their wiggle is real, right? So the Vatos like, hey, look, we're not here to disrespect you. We're just here to fuck chicks, right? Straight up in front of the Hinders. The Hinders are like, oh. I'm like, I'm here to fuck chicks too, right? You know what I mean? We're all here to just bone chicks. You guys are here to bone chicks, we're here to bone chicks. You might put them on your motorcycle, we might put them in the low-low. Either way, we're trying to go. Let's make it happen. I don't know what happened next, man. I turned to the left to grab a pistol. A Bud Light, I'm not gonna lie, right? I turned to the left to grab a pistol and that Mongol stole on the homeboy, right? Bro, I grabbed that pistol. Palabra. Cracked them open. Start squirting them like we just won the NBA championship. Orale Joker! We won, right? And my primo and everybody was on it. Hey, this was a rumble like no others. In the confines of a small home, the chicks were screaming. One chick was fish hooking me. Get out, my primo, right? My primo was fish hooking her. Get out, my primo. I said, I just want to go home, right? Vatos were getting off. It was the Mongol Nation definitely versus the Southsiders. Now, I wasn't aware of the friction between them in LA. This is a long time ago, gente. This is 1997. I wasn't aware that they were going through the motions down south as far as the Mongols at that particular time going against the grain, I believe. I don't know if that was the right timeline. I just, I would come to find out later some of the details that they actually were just doing their own thing and they were going against the grain, right? So these Vatos that were from down south or Vatos that were from up north that claimed down south, together as a group, as a gaggle, they were aware of this, right? Whereas the Mongols were also aware of this, and I was the only dumb baboso from the Northern California that wasn't aware of shit, right? I was just there. We fought. Oh, we definitely fought. And this fight right here was to establish some friction for a minute there. Now, I don't know at this particular time because I'm not all up in the politics or all gangbanging like that. So I don't know if they get along anymore. But I know that one thing, according to my primo, set some shit off between them. There was some back and forth and back, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, I think the one thing that set it off was one of the Southsiders came running out and they kicked one of the bikes. He did that fucking Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn. Is that what it's called? I don't know what that movie is called. Orale Colojero, right? He kicked the bike. And Vatos, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, gente, this Vato hit me like in the ear right here. It was going, sounded like I was on a fucking round flat or motorcycle, right? It was crazy. I know that the Vatos were like, we're coming back. And I looked at the Vatos like, hey, everybody's leaking, fight. It was a fight. The chicks are all, no, my kid's crib, right? The crib's all broken shit. I'm thinking, damn, girl, Piruja, where are your kids? They're with my mother-in-law, right? So I'm like, your mother-in-law, right? It's bang, bang. Anyways, so I'm looking at the homies like, what's up? What it is? Now I'm like full-blown Southsider right there with them, right? Even though I got a red poncho, I'm like, what's good? Help me, right? They're like, hey, look, we're going to bounce, hey. They tell the chicks, hey, you want to roll with this or what? A couple of the chicks are like, let's go. So I said, all they want to do is get mamons. They don't care about fights. They were, hey, when the fighting was going on, they were still dancing and shit. You know what I mean? They don't even care. You know what I mean? The other one, it was our pad. We destroyed it. Pensan La Tira. We had to get ghosts, right? Later on, I talked to my primo. That was just something that happened. We get back. Hey, I said, drop me on my abuelita. I don't want nothing to do with you Vatos anymore. You Vatos are crazier than us, right? Bam. I talked to my primo a couple days later. When I see him, I'm like, what happened, fool? He's like, shh, we went back. And that's all I'll say about that, right? But one thing is for sure, whatever friction there has been in the years and wars and battles between the Mongols and the Sul, that was definitely one that happened in Northern California that I experienced. That was real. That was true, right? Now, I got a lot of friends from both sides. And I know a lot of people hate on it. Gunner, why do you kick back with Southsiders? You got love for Southsiders. It's more respect. I got love for friends that happen to be from the southern area, and I got a lot of respect for all Vatos that happen to be from the southern area, just like I have all respect for everyone in the northern area. To me, it's all the same. I don't look at color lines anymore. I stopped that shit a long time ago. When it comes to the biker clubs, I'm not really in that mix, so I don't know exactly the policies and politics and what they got going on and the intricacies and the details into what they have cracking. But one thing I know for sure is they'll definitely have my respect because them Vatos wasn't playing. Like I said, they was cracking fools, right? Them vatos, and this is what people fail to realize. They're like, oh, the bikers ain't nothing like us. You know what I mean? But somos mexicanos. They're Mexican. Them vatos were all Mexicanos. They were all Chicanos. Rosas like, man, I just get straight up fucking American me. Vatos were down, right? And I'm not just saying, oh, Russia makes you down, but I'm saying it took time to groom it, right? So you got to give him his respect on that one. It just definitely was a different day that day, and it was the Mongol Nation versus the Sword. And at the end of the day, I hope, really, truly, man, that they got it together. I don't know the relationship between them two groups because I don't fuck with them anymore like that. But I definitely have respect for everyone. And that was one Norteno getting caught up in the middle of a whole bunch of shit that I shouldn't have been involved in. Hey, later on, I told my homeboys, they were mad. What are you doing kicking with the fuck? I said, my primo on them, fool. Don't act like you ain't ever kicked it at my tia's house with them. I have, bro, but at the same time, you're not supposed to tell anybody. Well, I ain't, but I'm just saying to you, from me to you. You know what it is. Anyways, with that being said, true stories, all facts, I guarantee it. Fact check it, that's it. That's what I want. Come on now. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's not all about gang violence, it's about gang silence, man. Don't say nothing, won't be nothing. Just do your thing. Yes, sir. You already know what it is. A real man will get up out of work, roll up his mattress, roll out of bed, put his shoes on, all mad and shit, and go to work at Subway. Eat fresh. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's bringing you guys the best possible content I can on YouTube, avoiding all the riffraff, avoiding all the hate, and just doing everything that I can do, man. Blessings to everyone and prayers to everyone, even those that don't like me. This is the gun. Bang, bang.